Good day, friends. One of our viewers asked a question about desktop. Thank you so very much for that question. There are a couple of knowledge when it comes to flight operation that you will never learn in the class. These knowledge and experience is actually gotten in the field as you're doing your job, or as you're working under more experienced people who also learned in the field. Talking about desktop, what exactly is desktop? Most of the time when we fly some aircraft with very short range or endurance, it tends to pose a challenge for those aircraft to fly for a long distance and to take the required quantity of fuel that will take them to their destination without stopping over a particular airport to top up fuel. That's actually what we call fuel tank stop. For instance, you're using like an Embraer Phenom to fly from Lagos to Johannesburg. Every professional knows that that is not possible. We need to tank stop some places, fly to certain places. Maybe the range of that aircraft, or maybe the endurance, the max endurance is 4 hours, for instance. And Lagos to Johannesburg is about 7 hours, or maybe 6 hours and 30 minutes. So that means you are going to fly for 3 hours and you stop, you refuel, and then you continue. That is what is called tank stop. And we need to take into consideration some performance information or calculation that could affect tank stop. If I'm taking more passengers, meaning I'm increasing my maximum takeoff weight that day, means it will restrict it will reduce the amount of fuel I can take that day. So that means that if I'm going to do a technical stop, in a particular airport that is closer, that is farther, I'm going to be needing more fuel. If I will need to do a technical stop in an airport that is farther than the one I planned, I will need to take more fuel. Meaning that I will need to reduce the payload I will take on that day. Let me explain in layman's terms. If I'm flying with an Embraer Legacy and I'm going to Rome from Africa, I will definitely need a tank stop. If I'm taking a full passenger load on Embraer Legacy, maybe 600 or 650, that can take up to 13 to 14 passengers. If I take full load of the passenger, and the maximum takeoff weight of that aircraft is about 22,500, for instance, and the full tanks is about 8,000 something. So that means if I'm taking full tanks, and I'm taking this full passenger load, it will affect my takeoff weight from my departure airport. That meaning that for me to take full passengers, I need to reduce the fuel I will take. That actually translates to me choosing a closer tank stop destination. Yes, a closer tank stop destination. Maybe Lagos to Rome, maybe I'm choosing Addis Ababa. If I'm going down south, I'm choosing Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, I'll find my way. Or I'll do Lagos to Algiers, depending on the route, maybe considering the winds and considering the weather activity that is present at that time. But it's good for you to actually evaluate with your payload you're expecting per day. That is what will help you determine the amount of fuel you can take that will not truncate your takeoff weight on that day. Don't forget what I said in the previous video. For a long haul flight, you are limited by your maximum takeoff weight. For a short haul flight, you are limited by your landing weight, because you're going to fly for a short time, you're not going to burn more fuel. So the takeoff weight, your landing weight and your takeoff and your landing, is just a little trip fuel that is the difference between them. So whenever you're planning a tank stop, always make sure that you calculate and you evaluate your payload on that day. That will help you calculate the required quantity you can safely take on that day to determine your tank stop destination. And then in determining your tank stop destination, you also check the length of the runway, the performance calculation, your PCN,